Living in Canada is getting expensive, and a lot of people are underestimating the actual cost it takes to live in Canada. So, if you're planning on moving to Canada or you already live in Canada and you feel like your money disappears every month it comes in, this video will show you your real monthly expenses and exactly where your money goes to. Yes, some of these numbers might actually surprise you. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be breaking down this cost into simple three categories. We have the fixed expenses, we have the daily spending, and the third category falls under the savings and investment. I'm going to be showing you real numbers, what I spend typically in a month, and most importantly, where you can realistically cut costs if you want to save more in Canada. Let's start with the fixed expenses. These are expenses and bills I have to pay, you have to pay every month no matter what. First is housing. Our rent costs us $2,300 every single month. Housing is the biggest expense for most people living in Canada, especially if you live in the bigger cities like the Toronto and the Vancouver. The money for rent could actually go higher in those cities. But if you decide to go to smaller cities, your rent could actually be lower. The next on the list is the utilities and the heatings, where we have the electricity, we have the water, we have the heating, and we have the home internet, which can cost about $200. And now, these costs can actually fluctuate depending on the season of the year. In winter, it can cost higher, and in summer, even lower. The other one on the list is phone bill. I currently use the bill and I pay $45 per month. Now, I have to say that the Canadian internet can actually be expensive, so it is better for you to shop around before you decide to stay with one of the providers, because I have learned if you're coming into Canada as a new immigrant, that I was about 6-7 months ago, I had no credit score, so it is even higher when you move in newly to Canada, because they need to check your credit score, and if you cannot prove, you get a higher monthly fee. Bear in mind that when you sign that contract, especially if you're using the postpaid, you have to use it for a minimum of 1 year before you're able to switch. So shopping around actually does help. Transportation is next. Depending on your lifestyle, depending on where you live, depending on the kind of car you have and your means of transportation, if you own a car or if you use the transit, you may actually be spending about $200 to $300 per month. Now, I'm not talking about if you are financing your car. I have to say that for the car insurance, we did shop around a lot before we settled in getting the one we have with Square One. This video is not sponsored, and we're paying about $183. Here comes the total amount for my fixed expenses every single month. A family of four, we have $2,725. Now, this is the baseline cost of maintaining our lifestyle while living in Canada as a family of four. 2 adults and 2 kids for people that are new on this channel. Now, that brings us to the second section of the cost of living, and we're moving to the variable expenses. Now, these variable expenses, the money moves up and down each month. For groceries for our family, it costs around $200 to $300 each month. I have noticed that in summer, food prices are relatively cheaper and more affordable, especially with the fruits, the vegetables, and all that, compared to winter time. So in summer, we would buy about $1 of apples, and it comes with a big bag. But now, with a small bag of about 2 kg, you may be paying about $7. And this is where most people, most families spend the bulk of their money even without realizing it. Other part is eating out and the coffee or the tea, everything outside the home. It could cost about $300. And when we came in newly, we were living in Airbnb, and that money was even higher. This is the area where you can save a lot of money if you make the food at home, or when you live in an Airbnb, try to go to the grocery shops to get your things and make at home, because every single money you pay outside going out to McDonald's and all that, they actually add up. With the tax, you realize that, oh my goodness, you may be spending your monthly budget for groceries in 2 or 3 trips when you eat out. Now, we're talking about subscription and streaming, and this can cost about $200 depending on the network you're using and all that. And that is why for our family, we just thought that in this stage of our life, we actually do not need any of these streaming apps and sites and all that. and that has actually saved us about $300. Other part of the personal spending for the family would be buying clothes, entertainment, and miscellaneous purchases. This can actually go up to $200. When we added all these things together from the actual expenses we make in a month, it cost us about $250. Now, this is an average for our family, given the fact that we have cut out a lot of eating out, subscription apps, and services. The biggest surprise for me is how much lifestyle spending actually adds up. When we tracked everything diligently, honestly, we realized that we were spending more on food than we thought we were. And that awareness helped us to adjust our budget and our habits. That brings us to the final category, which is the saving and investing category. This is the most important one for our family, and that's because it helps us to build for our future. Now, if you've watched my previous video, I've talked about budgeting in several ways, our payday routine, how we budget as a family of four. You know that we have been living on only one income, my income, so that we can save my husband's income and every other money that comes from it. So every single month from my salary, I save a minimum of $200 that goes to my TFSA for investment. Every other money that comes from my YouTube channel or other sources of income, I put that into emergency fund or into our TFSA or just into investment so that it brings more money for us. I treat savings as a non-negotiable expense because saying it that way, every $200 I put out for the future is buying a $200 of freedom in the future. These habits or this perspective and philosophy about saving and investing came from the conversation Mel Robbins had with the author of The Psychology of Money. I'm going to leave that in the description. So the final verdict, our monthly cost of living in Canada added up to $3,222. I have to say, this number may look different depending on the city you live in, the lifestyle you lead, and your choices. Seeing a real breakdown helps you understand what to expect when you move to Canada and help you plan accordingly. That's my real cost of living in Canada. The key takeaway is that awareness creates control. When you know exactly where your money is going to, it helps you make smarter decisions. And most importantly, build a system that supports your goal. This is your turn. I'm going to be inviting you for more comments. I reply to every comment. What's your fixed expense? What's your total monthly expense? What province are you watching from, or which country are you watching from? Let's have this conversation going on in the comments section, and I'm going to be replying to all of them. And if you want me to film a video, please leave that as a suggestion in the comment section. I also have freebies, templates, and all that. I'm going to leave that in a pinned comment or in the comment section of this video. In my next video, I'll be talking about the 9 things I stopped buying that saved me over $1,000 every single month. I know you don't want to miss it. Now, if you've not seen the video about our payday routine, I'm going to leave that video up here. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'm going to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.